Hey guys, it's Austin the Doctor, and welcome back to another review. I'm going to do a different background because, I want to. But anyway, so this is Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Senpai, episode 4, and as I said, Cloverworks really didn't do this correctly in my eyes, and let me explain it at the end of the video, but let's get through the review. So we see on the first, and this is a key point that I don't think people wouldn't notice right away. I'm like, I know what's going on exactly. It's June 27th, and remember that date because it's quite crucial to this entire thing. So we see Mei and Sukata have lunch together, and Mei made Suka lunch because he didn't think, she could cook, so she wanted to prove him wrong, and Suka actually asked out Mei again and ignored him, and her reasoning, because why she ignored him, hearing the same thing for a month, stopped feeling the same, burning passion, and she didn't feel anything. So of course, that was like, ouch. And we hear Mei got a drama gig in July, and there's a kissing scene, and oh, well, that's foreshadowing. But Suka tells her to decline the offer right away. It's obvious that he still likes her, but Mei is fine with it because it's not her first time. That's what her excuse was, and Mei thought Suka would remember that she had him as her first kiss, but he kind of forgot, and the reason why she did the first kiss is for the simple reason that he wouldn't forget her, that whole entire third episode basically. But Suka goes for another kiss, but Mei ends up feeding him an omelet. It was funny, and we finally learned later on about the role. It's actually, she's not the leading role, so there'd be no kissing. She wouldn't be doing the kissing, and that kind of relieved a lot of the stuff. But I'll get into more details as we go through. So Suka basically ends up saying he may fall out of love with Mei because she said she had no interest at all. This is foreshadowing, but Mei accepts Suka's proposal, and we have a repeat again. It's June 27th again, and on this day, it goes the same exact way, but, Suka kind of takes advantage of what he remembers and basically gets Mei to accept his going out earlier. And we see after this repeat, and I'm going to be real, I don't really like these because the Endless 8 has really ruined these kind of stuff for me, and I don't know, I just can't stand that kind of style of writing. It's not really great in my eyes, but that's just my opinion, I guess. But so we see now another crucial point is this girl's getting asked out. We find out it's Koga later on, but we have another repeat day. This is repeat day number 2, and Suka, starts to realize that what's going on, and he goes to Futaba about it again. And it's obviously adolescent syndrome again, and once again, Suka is the only one that can basically see it, like Mei. And Futaba, obviously tells good old Suka about the Laplace demon and how everything and anything of the pieces of matter can exist under the same laws of physics. So basically, anything that could, exist in the future, you can already sense it by predicting it. And I can go very well in detail because it's the whole thing that the character is both dead, alive at the same time, because they both exist in both time planes, that they're both alive and dead. So that's kind of the summary of it, and quite honest, it's a very hard concept to get around, and it kind of touches on the multi-universe theorem about how each thing you do has a different consequence, and if you do it a different way, it can have a different outcome, and that outcome could be in a different time plane, and it gets very complex, and I really don't want to bore you guys to death with that. But anyway, so anime wise, what they do is it just, with the physic or the demon, is it just repeats itself. So the predictions are basically what the day he goes through, and he sees any possibility that could happen in the future. And we finally meet the Laplace demon, which is Koga, and Koga is actually avoiding this guy that keeps asking her out because we find out her friend wants to go out with him, and this guy may be the actual key to break this cycle, which is quite interesting. But it's getting very crazy. It's going to be a very hard thing to follow through because we're going to lose a couple people while we go through this new arc. Because talking about the kind of multi-universe and time plane thing can throw people off, so I'll do my best to explain as we go through this arc. But basically, what's going on is this guy could be the constant variable, or the variable that is needed to go through with the hypothesis that is correct. And we don't hear about it until later on. But so obviously she's hiding. She knocks over where they were hiding, her and Suka, and the guy comes in, and it doesn't look great. And basically the guy's like, oh, they're dating kind of thing. And May walks in, and May is extremely mad and tells him not to talk to her again. And Saku is kind of on the whole thing of, oh, don't worry, I can do this again. And poor man. It's June 28th, and we see the 3 repeats didn't really count towards anything besides, it was just a tedious thing for them to go through. And Suku tries to find May at school, but she's actually not at school. And this is honestly a quite painful and awkward moment to see. And we see Futaba and Suku talk again about the whole Lapis demon and who it is. And Futaba actually talks about why she's angry because she bumped into Kunami, which is actually a guy she likes, but the guy is dating someone and he keeps saying hi to her. And it's kind of, I'm not gonna ruin anything for you, but anyways, let's go to Futaba's theory. If the guy realizes that the whole misunderstanding is a misunderstanding, then everything will go back to June 27th. It'll just repeat the cycle, and that's kind of how everything can be fixed. And we see Saku realizes he won't be able to date May, kind of the universe is against him until it gets fixed. And Koga now is working where Suka is working, and it's starting to get very, I know people are not going to like the new girl, I already know that one, but Koga, if you need to help jog your mind, she's the girl that kicked Suku when he was with that child trying to help the child out. And yeah, that's where she came from. And as I said, pay attention, she's going to be important later on. And we see that Rena and her friends are at the workplace that Suku and Koga work in. They actually ask Suku about him liking Koga, and apparently May dumped Suku. And as I said, it's very awkward, but Koga wanted to have Suku basically lie and pretend that they were dating for the first term of the school year, and Suku is kind of against it because he doesn't want to give her a bad rep, and it's awkward to say the least with him and May. But we see Koga is actually afraid of being alone, and this is just like how May is. It seems there's starting to become a connection of these cases with the people not wanting to be alone, or being alone and realizing they don't want to be alone anymore, and it kind of builds up into the syndrome. And truth be told, the simple psychology answer is it's just called overreaction. That's what adolescent syndrome is at the end of the day. But I'm not a psychologist, so going at the final part of the episode, we see a commercial come on about, with May in it, and her advertising a drink, and she actually shows up, and who knows if they will be able to basically patch things up. And just the way Cloverworks is going about it, I don't fully agree with it. If it was my opinion, I'd put the confession at the end and kind of weed out the beginning, because if you don't know, the first part actually was a prequel that was done at the end of the series with the author, and it's just, it kind of tied everything together. That's why I was always very skeptical of it. And I know people are like, oh, it's just following the light novel. And I'm like, I know it's following the light novel. That's why, as I said, that chapter that we had in the beginning was actually at the end, and it got translated first because it was supposed to be the prequel, but at the same time it tied everything together. So it kind of confuses a lot of people, I can understand. And it's just, the way Cloverworks should have done it is have, as I said, the confession at the end, because now it's very awkward, and we don't know if May and Suku are their ship is sinking or they're just done. But I hope they're not, because I really enjoy that couple. But I can't spoil anything, to say the least. Anyways, what did you think about this episode? Are you kind of disappointed? Are you just feeling awkward? Because I understand why people would feel awkward, because you have these two people and you realize that they're like really perfect for each other, because we saw Suko actually starting to take on traits that, you know, Mei had, and it kind of shows what the whole relationship or that arc left on him, and it's just having that there kind of drives that uncomfortableness to a person. And as I said, I understand where people are coming with not liking. I'm on the fence of, I hope they can pull this off. I'm not too sure. I have some faith, but then again, the Cloverwork has shown to be not trustworthy, especially with Darling Franks. But overall, I hope people don't jump the gun. Oh, you didn't read the light novel. I did. You should try to read it yourself, and you should realize how it goes, because this is just another crazy anime with the author kind of forgetting to do something, so he does something at the end to fix everything. And it's still a good series at the end of the day, and I hope not a lot of people lose track with it, especially with the time thing, because it's a very hard thing to follow, and you need the right person to explain it. As I said, with the whole what's going on with the Laplace thing is, right now, there's different things that are happening, and it's trial and error, basically, to see what will progress the day and what won't progress the day, or what will reset it to go back to that and do it the correct way. Basically, think of like trying to build a structure and you build it incorrectly, so you kind of have to go back before you have anyone use it, and you have to redo it by the, you know, bare bones of it. But that's kind of how this arc is going to go. That's the easiest way you can put it. Anyways, though, did you enjoy this episode? Are you kind of weary about the new arc? Are you gonna drop it? Are you gonna keep it going? It's up to you. Personally, I'm gonna keep watching, because I want to see how they're gonna work around their kind of cornering themselves into the corner again, because it's always entertaining to watch Cloverwork try to get their way out of something. But anyways, guys, this is Austin Doctor signing out. Peace.